All right, let's talk about something I'm sure we've all felt. You're working on a big Laravel app, and over time, it's just grown into this tangled mess. If that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down a really practical way to use domain-driven design, not just to clean up that chaos, but to actually make your code the perfect partner for AI.
Yeah, just let that sink in for a second. We all know that feeling, right? That cold sweat. This isn't just some made-up scenario. It is the reality for so many of us when code bases grow without a solid plan.
I mean, come on, right? We've all been there. You're digging through a file, hunting for that one little piece of logic buried under hundreds of other lines, just thinking, how did it get this bad?
And this slide, oh man, this slide shows exactly how it happens. You start out on day one, and your code is just beautiful. It's clean, simple, one job. But then you fast forward, 6 months? And that same method is now a monster. It's handling validation, it's checking business hours, it's juggling availability, sending notifications, firing off analytics. It's trying to do everything for everyone.
And what you end up with is, well, it's the classic mess, isn't it? Our controllers get huge, they become these bloated gatekeepers doing way too much, and our models, they become anemic, which is a great way to put it. They're just data bags with none of the actual business intelligence. The real rules that run the business are just smeared all over the place.
Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we get out of this mess? Well, the solution, it doesn't start with code. It actually starts with a huge shift in how we think. We have to stop thinking like we're just managing a database and start thinking in the actual terms of the business. Let's see what that really means.
And the absolute foundation of this new way of thinking is what domain-driven design calls the ubiquitous language. Think of this as the official dictionary for your project. It's a deal you make with everyone, product, design, engineering, that when we say booking, we all mean the exact same thing, whether we're in a meeting or writing a piece of code.
And what's so powerful about this table is how it closes what you could call the translation gap. On the left, you've got the way the business talks. In the middle, you have the developer's mental translation into database speak. And on the right, you have the shared language. When you get rid of that middle step, you get rid of a massive source of bugs and confusion.
And boom, this is what it actually looks like in your code. On the left, we're just messing with data. We're changing a string in a database column. But look at the right. We are performing a business action. That single cancel method can hold all the rules inside it. It can send the emails, update the analytics, check the permissions. The logic is finally where it's supposed to be.
So thinking in business terms is one thing, but you need the right tools to actually build it that way, right? This is where a really powerful trio of architectural patterns comes into play, giving us a clear blueprint to organize everything.
These are 3 pillars and they work together perfectly. Each one answers a really important question. DDD tells us where our business rules should live. Hexagonal Architecture shows us how to protect that logic from the outside world. And CQRS gives us a smart way to handle reading data versus changing data.
So let's look at Hexagonal Architecture, which you might also hear called ports and adapters. See that core right in the middle? That's your kingdom. That's your domain. It contains all the pure business logic. And here's the key. It knows nothing about your database, your API, or even Laravel. It's totally isolated. This makes your most important code super stable and incredibly easy to test.
And here's the whole flow, from start to finish. A request comes in, it hits your Laravel controller. The controller doesn't do any work itself. It just packages up the request into a simple data object, a command, and passes it off to the application layer. That layer then acts like a conductor, telling the domain and the database what to do. It's a really clean, one-way street.
So let's just quickly recap. DD answers, where does the logic go? In the domain. Hexagonal Architecture answers, how do I protect it? With ports and adapters. And CQRS answers, how do I handle reads versus writes? By separating them completely. You see, the needs for just showing some data on a screen are way different than the needs of a complex business operation. Each pillar solves a piece of the puzzle.
Okay, so all of this structure is great for keeping your code clean. We've known that for years. But here's the crazy part, the really modern payoff that changes the whole game. It makes your code base an absolute dream for AI coding assistants.
And this slide just says it all. I mean, look at the difference. On the left, you've got your typical tangled up code base. An AI looks at that and it gets confused. It has no idea where to put new logic, because there are no consistent patterns to follow. But on the right, in our structured codebase, the AI sees perfect examples everywhere. It sees a clear blueprint and can generate amazing, high-quality code that fits right in.
You know, this quote really hits home. For years, the biggest complaint you'd hear about DDD was, it's so verbose. I have to create like 9 different files just to add one simple feature. And you know what? That was a fair point back when we had to type everything out ourselves. But in the age of AI, that verbosity, it's not a bug anymore. It's a feature.
And why is that? Because every single one of those files you create is like a lesson plan for your AI. You're literally teaching it how your application is supposed to work. Think about it. In a messy app, you'd tell the AI, hey, add a cancellation feature, and it has to guess where everything goes. But in our structured app, you can just say, create a cancel booking command and a handler that calls the cancel method on the booking aggregate. The AI knows exactly what to do.
Okay, this all sounds awesome, right? But let's get real for a second. Trying to apply this intense level of structure to every single corner of your application, that would be complete overkill. The key to all of this is being pragmatic.
And the answer is a big, resounding no. Of course not. If you're building a simple CRUD page to manage blog tags, you probably don't need a whole system of commands and events and aggregates. That's just over-engineering.
So how do you know when to use it? Well, here's a quick checklist you can run through. Are the business rules actually complex? Is there a real cost, money, or user trust if a bug pops up here? Are lots of different people going to be working on this code over time? And maybe most importantly, does the business talk about this feature in a way that's totally different from your database tables? If you're saying yes to a few of these, that's a huge sign that this is where you should invest your effort.
And it all boils down to this, the 80-20 rule of pragmatic architecture. The truth is, in most apps, 80% of the code is pretty simple stuff. Your job is to find that critical 20%, the real heart of your business, where all the complexity lives, and focus your architectural efforts there. For the other 80%, standard Laravel is probably just fine.
And that really brings us to the final major takeaway here. The whole game is changing. With a code base that's structured this well, our job as developers starts to change. We stop being just typists, writing out every single line. We become architects. We orchestrate AI to build the code for us based on the clear, solid patterns we've already defined.
So look, this isn't just about writing cleaner code anymore. It's about getting ready for the future of how we build software. It's about making systems that aren't just easy for humans to maintain, but are also easy for our new AI partners to understand and expand upon. So I'll just leave you with this one question. Is your code base ready for that shift? Thanks for tuning in.